Hello out there. It's Tuesday night, and this is White Ash Flies with Colin Mahoney. Thank you so much for tuning in. Tonight we're presenting Caliban upon Setebos, or Natural Theology in the Island, a poem by Robert Browning, published in his poetry collection Dramatis Personae in 1864. A quick note of introduction. In Shakespeare's play The Tempest, Caliban is the mooncalf, or half-monster son of Sycorax the witch, who died leaving Caliban alone on an island, only to be enslaved by the wizard Prospero. So, in the summer, with time on his hands, alone in his hut, Browning's Caliban meditates on his god, Setebos. The poem's subtitle, Natural Theology in the Island, refers to Caliban's use of his relationship with the island's plants and animals to reason out his understanding of his god, Setebos. The poem opens with the setting of the scene, and the rest of the poem is composed of passages of various lengths, each opening with a quality attributed by Caliban to Setebos, based on the closely observed world around Caliban. Prospero's daughter Miranda and his attendant spirit Ariel are both mentioned in the poem as well. You can find this episode and previous episodes of White Ash Flies on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, SoundCloud, Anchor FM, and on Twitter at Colin Mahoney 15. And now, Caliban upon Setebos by Robert Browning on White Ash Flies. Epigram. Thou thoughtest that I was altogether such a one as thyself. Psalm 50, verse 21. Will sprawl, now that the heat of day is best, flat on his belly in the pit's much mire, with elbows wide, fists clenched to prop his chin, and while he kicks both feet in the cool slush, and feels about his spine small things coarse, run in and out each arm, and make him laugh. And while above his head a pompion plant, coating the cave top as a brow its eye, creeps down to touch and tickle hair and beard, and now a flower drops with a bee inside, and now a fruit to snap at, catch and crunch. He looks out o'er yon sea, which sea beams cross and recross till they weave a spider web, meshes of fire. Some great fish breaks at times, and talks to his own self, howe'er he please, touching that other, whom his dam called God, because to talk about him vexes. Ha! Could he but know? And time to vex is now, when talk is safer than in winter time. Moreover, Prosper and Miranda sleep in confidence he drudges at their task, and it is good to cheat the pair and jibe, letting the rank tongue blossom into speech. Setebos, Setebos, and Setebos. Thinketh he dwelleth in the cold of the moon. Thinketh he made it, with the sun to match, but not the stars. The stars came otherwise, only made clouds, winds, meteors, such as that. Also this isle, what lives and grows thereon, and snaky sea which rounds and ends the same. Thinketh it came of being ill at ease. He hated that he cannot change his cold, nor cure its ache. Hath spied an icy fish that longed to scape the rock stream where she lived, and thaw herself within the lukewarm brine of the lazy sea her stream thrusts far amid, a crystal spike twixt two warm walls of wave. Only she ever sickened, found repulse at the other kind of water, not her life, green dense and dim delicious, bread of the sun. Flounced back from bliss she was not born to breathe, and in her old bounds buried her despair, hating and loving warmth alike. So he thinketh he made thereat the sun, this isle, trees and the fowls here, beast and creeping thing. Yon otter, sleek wet, black, lithe as a leech. Yon auk, one fire eye in a ball of foam, that floats and feeds. A certain badger brown he hath watched hunt with that slant white wedge eye by moonlight. And the pie, with the long tongue that pricks deep into oak warts for a worm, and says a plain word when she finds her prize, but will not eat the ants. The ants themselves that build a wall of seeds and settled stalks about their hole. He made all these and more, made all we see, and us, in spite. How else? He could not himself make a second self to be his mate, as well have made himself. He would not make what he mislikes or slights, an eyesore to him, or not worth his pains, but did, in envy, listlessness, or sport, make what himself would fain in a manner be, weaker in most points, stronger in a few, worthy, and yet mere playthings all the while, things he admires and mocks too. That is it. Because so brave, so better though they be, it nothing skills if he begin to plague. Look now, I melt a gourd fruit into mash, add honeycomb and pods, I have perceived, which bite like finches when they bill and kiss. Then, when froth rises bladdery, drink up all, quick, quick, till maggots scamper through my brain. Last, throw me on my back in the seeded time, and wanton, wishing I were born a bird. Put case, unable to be what I wish, I yet could make a live bird out of clay. Would not I take clay, pinch my Caliban able to fly? For there, see, he hath wings, and great comb like the hoopoes to admire, and there, a sting to do his foes offence. There, and I will that he begin to live, fly to yon rock top, nip me off the horns of grigs high up that make the merry din, saucy through their veined wings, and mind me not. In which feat, if his legs snapped, brittle clay, and he lay stupid like, why, I should laugh. And if he, spying me, should fall to weep, beseech me to be good, repair his wrong, bid his poor legs smart less or grow again, well, as the chance were, this might take or else not take my fancy. I might hear his cry, and give the mankin 3 sound legs for 1, or pluck the other off, leave him like an egg, and lessened he was mine and merely clay. Were this no pleasure, lying in the time, drinking the mash, with brain become alive, making and marring clay at will? So he thinketh such shows nor right nor wrong in him, nor kind nor cruel. He is strong and lord. Am strong myself compared to yonder crabs that march now from the mountain to the sea. Let 20 pass and stone the 21st, loving not, hating not, just choosing so. Say, The first straggler that boasts purple spots shall join the file, one pincer twisted off. Say, this bruised fellow shall receive a worm, and 2 worms he whose nippers end in red. As it likes me each time, I do. So he. Well then, supposeth he is good in the main, placable if his mind and ways were guessed, but rougher than his handiwork, be sure. Oh, he hath made things worthier than himself, and envieth that, so helped, such things do more than he who made them. What consoles but this, that they, unless through him, do not at all, and must submit? What other use in things? Hath cut a pipe of pithless elder joint, that, blown through, gives exact the scream of the jay when from her wing you twitch the feathers blue. Sound this, and little birds that hate the jay flock within stone's throw, glad their foe is hurt. Put case, such pipe could prattle and boast, forsooth. I catch the birds. I am the crafty thing. I make the cry my maker cannot make with his great round mouth. He must blow through mine. Would not I smash it with my foot? So he. But wherefore rough? Why cold and ill at ease? Aha! That is a question. Ask for that. What knows? The something over Setebos that made him. Or he may be found and fought, worsted, drove off and did to nothing perchance. There may be something quiet o'er his head, out of his reach, that feels nor joy nor grief, since both derive from weakness in some way. I joy because the quails come. Would not joy could I bring quails here when I have a mind. This quiet, all it hath a mind to, doth. Esteemeth stars the outposts of its couch, but never spends much thought nor care that way. It may look up, work up, the worse for those it works on. Careth but for Setebos the many-handed as a cuttlefish, who, making himself feared through what he does, looks up first, and perceives he cannot soar to what is quiet and hath happy life. Next looks down here, and out of very spite makes this a bauble world to ape yon real, these good things to match those, as hips do grapes. 'Tis solace making baubles, aye, in sport. Himself peeped late, eyed Prospero at his books, careless and lofty, lord now of the isle. Vexed, stitched a book of broad leaves, arrow-shaped. Wrote thereon, he knows what, prodigious words. Has peeled a wand and called it by a name. Weareth it whiles for an enchanter's robe, the eyed skin of a supple oncelot, and hath an ounce sleeker than youngling mole. A 4-legged serpent he makes cower and couch, now snarl, now hold its breath and mind his eye. And saith she is Miranda, and my wife. Keeps for his Ariel a tall pouch-bill crane he bids go wade for fish and straight disgorge. Also a sea-beast, lumpish, which he snared, blinded the eyes of, and brought somewhat tame, and split its tow-webs, and now pens the drudge in a hole of the rock, and calls him Caliban. A bitter heart that bides its time and bites. Plays thus at being prosper in a way, taketh his mirth with make-believes. So he. His dam held that the quiet made all things, which Setebos vexed only. Holds not so. Who made them weak meant weakness he might vex. Had he meant other, while his hand was in, Why not make horny eyes no thorn could prick? Or plate my scalp with bone against the snow? Or overscale my flesh neath joint and joint, like an orc's armor? Aye, so spoil his sport. He is the one now, only he doth all. Saith, he may like perchance what profits him. Aye, himself loves what does him good. But why? Gets good no otherwise. This blinded beast loves whoso places flesh meat on his nose. But had he eyes, would want no help, but hate or love, just as it liked him. He hath eyes. Also it pleaseth Setebos to work, use all his hands, and exercise much craft, by no means for the love of what is worked. Tasteth himself no finer good in the world when all goes right, in this safe summer time, and he wants little, hungers, aches not much, then trying what to do with wit and strength. Falls to make something, piled yon pile of turfs, and squared and stuck there squares of soft white chalk, and, with a fish tooth, scratched a moon on each, and set up endwise certain spikes of tree, and crowned the whole with a sloth skull atop, found dead in the woods, too hard for one to kill. No use at all in the work, for work's sole sake. Shall some day knock it down again. So he saith he is terrible. Watch his feats in proof. One hurricane will spoil 6 good months' hope. He hath a spite against me, that I know, just as he favors Prospero, who knows why. So it is, all the same, as well I find. Wove wattles half the winter, fenced them firm with stone and stake to stop she-tortoises crawling to lay their eggs here. Well, one wave, feeling the foot of him upon its neck, gaped as a snake does, lulled out its large tongue, and licked the whole labor flat. So much for spite. Saw a ball flame down late, yonder it lies, where half an hour before I slept in the shade. Often they scatter sparkles. There is force. Dug up a newt he may have envied once and turned to stone, shut up inside a stone. Please him and hinder this, what Prosper does. Aha, if he would tell me how. Not he. There is the sport. Discover how, or die. All need not die. For of the things of the isle, some flee afar, some dive, some run up trees. Those at his mercy, why, they please him most when, well, never try the same way twice. Repeat what act is pleased, he may grow wroth. You must not know his ways, and play him off, sure of the issue. Doth the like himself, spareth a squirrel that it nothing fears, but steals the nut from underneath my thumb. And when I threat, bites stoutly in defense. Spareth an urchin that contrariwise curls up into a ball, pretending death for fright at my approach. The 2 ways please. But what would move my choler more than this? That either creature counted on its life tomorrow and next day and all days to come, saying, forsooth, in the inmost of its heart, because he did so yesterday with me, and otherwise with such another brute, so must he do henceforth and always. Aye, would teach the reasoning couple what must means. Doth as he likes, or wherefore Lord, so he conceiveth all things will continue thus, and we shall have to live in fear of him so long as he lives, keeps his strength. No change if he have done his best, make no new world to please him more. So leave off watching this. If he surprise not even the quiet self some strange day, or suppose, grow into it as grubs grow butterflies. Else, here are we, and there is he, and nowhere help at all. Believeth with the life the pain shall stop. His dam held different, that after death he both plagued enemies and feasted friends. Idly, he doth his worst in this our life, giving just respite lest we die through pain, saving last pain for worst, with which an end. Meanwhile, the best way to escape his ire is not to seem too happy. Sees himself yonder 2 flies, with purple films and pink, bask on the pompion bell above. Kills both. Sees 2 black painful beetles roll their ball on head and tail as if to save their lives. Moves them the stick away they strive to clear. Even so, would have him misconceive. Suppose this Caliban strives hard and ails no less, and always, above all else, envies him. Wherefore he mainly dances on dark nights, moans in the sun, gets under holes to laugh, and never speaks his mind save housed as now. Outside, groans, curses. If he caught me here, or heard this speech and asked, "What chucklest at?" would, to appease him, cut a finger off, or of my 3 kid yearlings burn the best, or let the toothsome apples rot on tree, or push my tame beast for the orc to taste, while myself lit a fire, and made a song and sung it. What I hate be consecrate, to celebrate thee in thy state, no mate for thee. What see for envy in poor me? Hoping the while, since evils sometimes mend, warts rub away and sores are cured with slime, that some strange day will either the quiet catch and conquer Setebos, or likelier he decrepit may doze, as good as die. What? A curtain o'er the world at once. Crickets stop hissing. Not a bird, or, yes, there scuds his raven that has told him all. It was fool's play, this prattling. Ha! The wind shoulders the pillared dust, death's house o' the move, and fast invading fires begin. White blaze, a tree's head snaps, and there, his thunder follows. Fool to gibe at him. Lo, lieth flat and loveth Setebos. Maketh his teeth meet through his upper lip. Will let those quails fly. Will not eat this month one little mess of whelks. So he may scape,